Coby White set for a big payday. On top of ranking as one of the top 12 shooting guards in the league and one of the top 5 free agents, we're going to talk about what the offseason could bring next year for Coby White. We're going to talk about all that. Plus, should the Bulls have a summer of 26 backup plan? All that and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, who right before we started streaming, took a big bite out of his breakfast. Then during the intro music playing, thought he had time to take another big bite out of his breakfast. Host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast.
Doing a lot of shows. You got to eat when you can, man. Hey, it was me coming back. I was like, hey, how y'all doing?
Bro, the first one I was like, okay, I can see that. Then when I'm watching the intro and I look at you and I'm like, he took another bite? That's crazy. I'm Haize, host creator of Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. Visit FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. Pat, we're still not through with the Josh Giddey situation at all. But you have to already start looking and preparing for what's coming up next. And Coby White is going to be a storyline throughout all the season. Ayo Dosunmu too, but we're going to focus on Coby White now. And there's been a lot of talk. It was almost like it was Coby White weekend because it started off with him being ranked as a top 15 shooting guard in this league, ranked at number 12. And then on top of that, Bleacher Report came out with an article with the top 5 free agents next year, and Coby White was 5th on that list. Surprisingly enough, I haven't really looked at who, but it was Trae Young first, Giannis second, LeBron third, and then Jonathan Kuminga and Coby White. So the question here is that it seems like regardless, a big payday is coming for Coby. And I already know a lot of Bulls fans, more knee-jerky. Oh, my God, but Josh Giddey, it's a completely different situation. Josh Giddey's restricted. It was a offseason where there wasn't a lot of money to go around. Next season, Coby White's unrestricted. There is a lot of teams with cap space. So It seems like a big payday is coming for Coby White. Pat, how do you feel about that? What do you think as things stand right now? Because a lot's going to be determined by how Coby plays this season. But what do you think is a fair payday for Coby White? What do you think he's going to get?
Listen, I think Coby's going to be around that $35 to $40 million. We know how the percentages work in this NBA. And he, like you said, he's going to be one of the top free agents available. As far as scores go, he's probably on that list you named. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know Trae Young is the one that's viewed as the best, but Trae Young is incredibly inefficient. And Coby might be the best scorer of those top free agents that you named right there, because he's giving you the points and giving you the efficiency with that as well. Now, the consistency has always been the big thing for Coby White, so we'll see, how consistent he is this season. But listen, you got a young man who has consistently over the last 3 seasons been around 37% from the three-point line, who's had his role change just about every year, who's found ways to just, go out there and make the best of a situation that has been a bad situation around him, just kind of being, off of the bench, starting point guard, starting shooting guard. Hey, go play some small ball center. They throw Coby anywhere they need him. I love the fact that he's been able to bounce back, but I do think you have to have a real conversation on, is it replaceable? And that's always where I've been at. I think that Coby White is going to get the big payday, but should the Bulls be the one to pay it? Because as far as scoring goes in the NBA, we're not in a league where it's hard to find it.
Yeah, true. But the thing is, Pat, is that if you find it, you're probably going to be paying that. So what I did over this weekend is that I looked for shooting guards, because that's what Coby White is now. He's the shooting guard. So I'm judging him based off shooting guards. Coby White was top 10 in scoring for shooting guards, top 6, I believe, in assists per game for shooting guards, one of the lowest 5 as far as turnovers per game for shooting guards, and in the top 8 of rebounds for shooting guards. So I get it. You can replace technically scoring, but the thing that I have to ask myself is that, what are you going to end up paying for that? And that we'll get into more so the backup plan conversation. But I think when you get into that for Coby, it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, it's replaceable, but it's not like people are just sending that off. And usually if you do, you're going to end up paying around it. Now, we've heard something about Anthony Simons early in the year. The thing is, Anthony Simons is also free agent at the end of the year. Is probably going to be looking about 30 to 35 million too. Yeah. So, not to fight back on your point that scoring is one of the easier things to replace in the league. I think that if this chemistry with Josh Giddey maintains, and there is a question on if, just because we saw it over the last 25-ish games, I think it's fair to still question, can you do it for a full season? Why risk introducing somebody who may not fit? And looking at this from the Bulls' perspective, if he already shows that fit and scoring is going to be at that shooting guard. If you look at the scores around Coby White in that shooting guard position, Austin Reeves is one spot below him. He's also looking for a $30 million contract. Yeah. Anthony Simons is two spots below him. He's also looking for a $30 million contract. Desmond Bane, underneath Kobe as far as scoring and points per game, he's all on a $28 million, near $30 million?
Something like that, yeah.
So and then all the people above him are making
Desmond Bane is making 36 because he signed a new deal.
Okay,
Desmond Bane getting the baggy bag.
That's just where again, just to offer a different perspective on your point, I think you're probably paying for that. Now, if it gets to the $40 million, I get you. If you're staying between 30 and 35, that's probably what you're going to pay anyway, unless you're getting a player on the rookie scale deal.
Well, only thing I wonder about is, what then does that player become? Desmond Bane kind of opens up this conversation because if you're paying 35 to 40 million, somewhere in there for, Coby White, are you okay with that not being your number one player on the team? Maybe he is, your one of your key pieces, but he wouldn't be. I don't think your future with this Bulls team is Coby White being the number one. He's probably your number two guy on the team as far as your scores go. Desmond Bane opens that conversation up. Desmond Bane contract, 36 million, 39 million, 42 million, 44 million. But Desmond Bane offers a heck of a lot more defensively.
True. And granted, again, I think I'm just looking at what the Bulls may look at and what his agents may also weigh. And here's the thing. I get what you're saying. Do you want Coby to be your highest paid player on a team? But when what the player that you think is going to be your best player is still on the rookie scale deal, maybe you have a little bit more. And the way that I look at it is I don't think the Bulls offer Coby more than a 3 or 4 year extension. And here's why I think that is that a 4-year extension would have him overlap with the same time Noah Essengay's contract's coming up. A 3-year extension would have him the year after Matas Buzelis signs his contract extension. So I think that the Bulls can play it that way as far as between our two young players that we hope are going to be the number one, number two team on this players on this team. Coby and Josh Giddey's contracts could potentially come up, which then gains you some flexibility at that point in time.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think you got a ton of opportunities to play around with how the salaries play out. I think the part for me with Coby, and I would rather have Coby on this team than not, because it's easy to say, hey, you can go out there and you can find scoring. You still got to find it. Yeah. Kobe's already here. He's already a scorer. I don't think you're going to find too many better scorers than him in the league. The biggest question I have is just, what is he truly going to be used for in this offense? Like that, is he going to be, just a guy who is now the spot up 3-point shooter? Is he going to be allowed to be the Coby White that is able to go out there and get you 30 plus points in a game because it's your show? Go out there and ball out. Or, and I think this is the biggest thing. How does Coby look in the transition that it feels like the Bulls are having? It feels like we're heading towards a Bulls team where the focus is going to be around Matas. I would assume, like you said, Noah probably ends up in that conversation as well. You got Josh Giddey on the team. How does Coby fit in as it's like, it's not just going to be the balls in your hand to go out there and put up as many shots as you want. It's going to be you're fitting into now what the system is with the new generation of Bulls, and you're, some guys can't adjust to that. Like when who did why am I blanking on boy that was on Atlanta? I'm thinking De'Aaron Fox. That's not it. DeJounte Murray. When DeJounte Murray got on that team, the first thing I said, everybody was like, this is going to be great. I was like, no, it's not. Both these mothers need the ball in their hand to be great. And Atlanta was a very incredibly mid team because they didn't know how to score with both of these dudes, with one of these guys being off ball.
Yeah, that's true. And so that is something that Coby himself he's even talked about, that he wants to be a better off ball player. And I mean, if you're going to be on a team with Josh Giddey and Matas is going to be taking a step too, those off-ball opportunities and how you can run off ball is going to be really, really important to that. So that's a great call there, Pat, because if you can't score off ball or if it gets difficult, then we're right back into the situation of DeMar and Zach and Vooch.
And now you getting paid 35, and I mean it's all going to be escalating. So if it starts at 35, he's going to be at 40 plus million by the end of it for a dude that is not as good off ball.
Yeah, unless it's 35 annual average value, then that means it may start less than 35, average out to a little bit more, and then it kind of balances out. But I guess we shall see what's going to happen on that one. But we're going to continue this conversation and also talk about the summer of 2026 and with the kind of questions around Coby and Ayo, because they have to go. Well, they basically are going to go through unrestricted free agency. Should the Bulls have a backup plan? We're going to talk about that. But first, we got to get into the message from FanDuel. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for the bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. So take a flyer on, I don't even know, Caleb Williams as your MVP. Not going to happen, but let's hope so. Crown your champion in August, who, of course, the Buffalo Bills are always going to be a favorite as well. Or parlay your division winner, dark horses. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right, Pat. So one of the things in talking about Coby White in the summer of 2026, where him and Ayo Dosunmu are most likely to go through unrestricted free agency just because they can get more in unrestricted free agency than if they sign an outright contract extension. How invested do the Bulls have to be in a backup plan for the summer of 26? Because while right now you're building, you're trying to keep a core together, you're building a team that you hope is gonna be able to keep playing together. All it takes is one team to make an offer, and then you're losing parts of your core in Coby and Ayo. And because the Bulls have not traded them at that point, you are stuck holding nothing. So how important is a backup plan next offseason?
What's the plan? Like, I get the backup plan, but we don't even know what the actual plan is. Like, I guess
based off what we know now, things could change. I think the safe bet on the actual plan is we're going to build organically through the draft, develop, and we're going to keep a lot of this same team together and hope that Matas, Noah, whoever we draft in 2026, another deep draft, that these players eventually hit that upward trend that we're looking at them as a new core that we can build around. I'm guessing that's the plan. That's all we have to go off of right now.
I feel like AK says summer of 2026 just because it sounded catchy. And not his mug.
At the time, there were a lot of free agents that were slated to be there, but a lot of those guys have already signed extensions. So,
I mean, are we already on the backup plan? That's what I mean. Like, where's the plan at? No, look, I think, honestly, looking at, the possibility of Coby and or Ayo leaving, I would think if that is a real possibility, and I get what you're saying, right? They're probably going to go to unrestricted free agency because they can get kind of a bidding war going here. But if you're the Bulls and you're smart about this and you want to keep these two young players, get them signed during the season. If those are the guys that you want to keep, like, get it done.
You can't, though. Like, Coby can sign right now a 4-year, $84 million contract, since do the work on the annual average value, but the Bulls can't offer him the $30 million contract, and just because of CBA rules. So now I think the key thing for the Bulls is going to be, because keep in mind, at the end, before free agency officially opens, you have that exclusive negotiating period with your own free agents. It's going to be really important that they get Coby to agree in that window, that what I think is 3 days, because if he goes to unrestricted free agency, it could get a little messy.
100%. And I think there's going to be a lot of teams bidding for him. I think that the price is going to get extremely high, and you're going to sit there at the end of it going, well, we can't sign this dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which maybe that's the best route for you to go in all of this. If it does get ridiculous in some of the bidding wars that over Coby White, but I think it's always best to have a backup plan. What that backup plan is right now, though, I don't think it's, you've got this great situation that you're in. I mean, honestly, talk about guys like Andrew Wiggins. I mean, I guess Wemby's there, but Wemby's not leaving in 26. Like you've got names on there that it realistically aren't leaving their original team because of bird rights or whatever it is, where they could just get more money out there.
Yeah, I think you're looking at like trades maybe being like I read an article, and we'll get more into detail on that tomorrow. I want to dive into that one. But there was an article saying how if the Pelicans do blow it up, that they've already kind of talked about Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, you know, them finding new destinations for them. Maybe you can get in on that. Anthony Simons could end up being a guy that you could end up pivoting towards as well. Like that's really it. Like I mean, and things change over the course. Like we're 11 months away from free agency next year. A lot could change. Somebody could get tired of their team. A lot can go different routes. And maybe then you're opening yourself up for a little bit more. But as it stands right now, I just think the Bulls, it's chips in on Coby and Ayo. And if that doesn't work, you're gonna have to find something quick.
I mean, and that's my thing, right? Like it only makes sense to have something in place or to try and get something done, you know, as soon as free agency opens, because there isn't a good backup plan for the summer of 26. Now, I will say this. There's some interesting free agents possibly that may be on that market, right? We talked about, you know, the whole Cam Thomas deal and how everything has gone down for him, right? Like that could be a guy that you're talking about on the market. We talked about Kuminga. You know, if these guys take the QO, you could have a lot of guys that end up on the market that weren't going to be on next year's free agency market.
That's true.
But that's still the what if situation because we haven't got none of these restricted free agents signed as of yet. Like,
yeah, I mean, and we did already hear a couple of weeks ago as well that if Jonathan Kuminga hits unrestricted free agency next season, the Bulls are going to be there interested in it. So that's a great point. I just hope that whatever, and I know that hoping this for AK and Eversley, it's dangerous, but I do hope that they are looking at all of this and preparing for it because things can go from looking like they're going to go one way to a complete change real quick next offseason.
It's going to be an interesting, like, just how they're going to build this up. Like, when I look at, you know, the plan that AK has already executed, so much changes if Matas takes a step.
That's true.
Like, literally, it just goes, oh, okay, just sign everybody and make it work.
Yeah.
Like, so much changes if Matas takes a step this season. That's the true, the truth about, you know, getting a star in the NBA or a superstar in the NBA is like, these conversations we're having right now seem like, how is this team going to operate without a guy like Coby White? And it quickly could become, I mean, we like Coby White, but we don't need Coby White. We can go out here and get X, Y, and Z and supplement that. Like it's so funny, like seeing how quickly a team can change. And I think that's truly the hope that we need to see play out here is that you get enough development out of your young players where you have the flexibility to do the moves that you want to do, not the moves where your back's up against the wall and you have to do.
That's a great point. We'll see, man. I hope that this is an off season of the season is an off season as a season of clarity. Like, because if Coby can take that leap from a 20 to 25 plus point per game score, like there are only, I think, 6 players in the league that averaged over 25 points per game. If he makes that type of leap, like it makes it simple as far as you keeping him, because then you probably it's not even a question. Like, yeah, we'll play the 35 to 40 million. If you make that type of leap with efficiency, then that eliminates that question. And then, like you said, the Matas aspect of that's probably the most important part of it. If Matas makes that step, well, I expect it in year 3. You've been very consistent on hoping to see it in year 2. If it does happen in year 2, that's the best case scenario, because that would be before you have to make a decision on another big contract, 2 of them really potentially with Ayo. And so if it does happen in year 2, it makes it a lot more clear on how you need to build this team going forward.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully, you know, we get to see the easy path for once here with the Chicago Bulls, because nothing's easy with this team.
Bro, ever. Every time it feels like it's about to be easy, it takes a sharp turn, bro, to question. But like, you remember the first like year and 3/4 over Lauri Markkanen is like, oh, bam, we got Lauri, we got Zach, we about to be off to the races. Let's get some defenders around them. And then Chris Dunn fell and broke his teeth. Lauri got hurt, never really stayed healthy after that point in time. What was the idiot coach that we had? What was his name?
Oh, Jim Boylan.
Jim Boylan decided to just go completely crazy, bro. Like, it's just, You just never know. Every time the Bulls seem like they have a path forward, or even last time, we're number one team in the East. Lonzo was rolling, everybody was rolling. It was like, hey, we're building something here, and it all came crashing down in the game against the Golden State Warriors.
When it all falls down.
But next up, we're going to be discussing a quick topic in which should the Chicago Bulls, the Reinsdorfs, and that ownership group be looking to buy the Chicago Sky? More on that right after this. All right, Pat.
I thought about trying to take a bite.
Huh?
I said I thought about trying to take a bite. It was too quick.
That is hilarious, bro. I didn't even look. Did you take a bite when I did the ad read?
100%.
Okay. I was
focused
on the ad read. That is hilarious. Let's get Pat up out of here so we can go finish eating. But so there's a lot going on with the WNBA. Not to turn this into a WNBA light show. Me and you were both huge Chicago Sky fans.
Yep.
There are a lot of NBA owners, and I don't know if this is because of the influx of money that the WNBA is generating, the interest around the league. But also, I do think that a lot of WNBA owners were selling because there's a contract dispute as far as minimum contracts. So the players are looking to drastically increase the amount of money that they get paid. So NBA owners who are mostly billionaires, where a lot of WNBA owners who are millionaires, are coming in here. So with more WNBA teams being purchased recently by NBA owners, Pat, should the Chicago Bulls be looking to buy the Chicago Sky?
No, I don't. I got enough problems going on with the Sky. I don't need Jerry involved in it. By the way, if you think you're going to get more money and Jerry Reinsdorf buys your team, hey, ladies, get ready. Well, you get to fly on United.
Well, that you get to fly on United. It's just whatever the salary cap is, that's what we're spending. That's it.
Yeah, for real.
Whatever is spent, that's whatever said it. That's what we spend it. Don't go over it. And I do think though that because it like the WNBA would almost be a write-off for Jerry Reinsdorf. Like the amount of money it would take to buy the Sky. I think the Sky were recently valued at like I think it was like $10 million, bro. Like that's Jerry spends that on suits a year, bro.
Chicago Sky are currently valued at you're a little low, my boy.
I'm low. Okay,
per Spotrac, $95 million.
Okay. That could have been. I could have been a couple years off on that one. Okay.
I ain't gonna lie. There's some value in this mother. Mercury worth $105 million. The Liberty worth $130
million.
You said what?
Forbes got the Sky at $240 million.
I don't know about that one. That one sounded low cap. But I mean, it is Forbes. This is SI Forbes. I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm just going off Forbes 2025 ranking. The valuation for the Sky is $240 million.
This 2024. So you probably got the most current one.
7th most valuable team in the league, which sounds great, but then when you realize there's 13 teams in the league, it's like, yeah. But okay, so that's still that's considerably more money than I was expecting. And then you never sell it. The valuation is going to be a little bit higher than that because they're going to be looking to clear costs. So let's say roughly $300 million to buy the Chicago Sky. Here's the thing. Jerry is about the revenue, and we know that, right? It's all about how much are you making each year and how much Jerry can actually see that. I don't see it. The only way that I can see the Bulls themselves buying the Sky is if Michael's a huge Chicago Sky fan, and I don't think I've ever seen Michael Reinsdorf at a Sky game.
No, and I think that this situation, I don't think they want to get in right now with the contract disputes and all of that stuff going on. That they're offering deals that the league is offering deals that they feel are fair. And the women's game and the players are saying, we want more. We're not accepting that. We want more, which you gotta figure out the balance there. But I don't think Jerry wants any part of that. I don't think Michael wants any part of that. Like
if they wanted a part of that, they would have been there when the Sky started. Is the way that, and I get it that the league's in a much different place. But if the Reinsdorfs had a true interest in buying and being involved in the WNBA, they would have been there when the WNBA was at the start.
They will be one of the owner groups that if they do get a WNBA team, they'll get it late. Because remember how long it took them just to get a G League team? Back when it was the D League?
Because we shared the Iowa energy. I'll never forget that. It was us and did the Suns share that first?
Us and the Suns. Because then I think we sent the player down and they picked him up for like 3 games or 4 games.
Yeah, something like that.
Sent somebody down, it might have been Antonio Blakeney. And it was like he just randomly played with the Suns a few games, got sit back down, and it was back with us. It was like, what the heck did I just see? But no, I don't see Jerry wanting to get into what the WNBA is doing right now, just because of look, he's already heading for one lockout in baseball in 2 years, basically.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's getting out of that. He sold the Sox, so it's coming soon.
Well, he's a part of it for the next 5 years at least, unless he does die. But he's not going to want to be a part of 2 lockouts, which I think the W is going to end up heading for a lockout, which is going to kill the league. But that's a whole different conversation.
It seems like that. I do think if anybody buys the Sky, because I do think the owner of the Cubs had registered some interest before in buying the Sky. That's probably what you're looking at.
Tom Ricketts, owner of the Chicago Sky.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think if you're seeing another team, and Laura, isn't Laura running everything now?
Laura who?
Laura Ricketts, isn't she the one running everything now?
I mean, yeah, they doing the day-to-day stuff, but Tom's still the one that's got the money.
Yeah, but I think that's probably what you're looking at as the Cubs buying the Chicago Sky, and that's probably what you're gonna if that ever were to happen with Mike Alter moving off of it, wanting more investors in. I think that's probably what you're looking at there.
We'll see, man. We'll see, but leave the Sky alone. Just let them figure out.
No, don't leave the Sky alone. Improve the team.
Hey, bro. None of these ones are going to improve it. We're going to be sitting there if Ricketts buy the team. We're going to be sitting there at the halfway point going, hey, man, we really need a point guard to improve the play on this team. You're going to be like, huh? What? How about a center? I got you the center.
Bro, what happened to the
talented center?
But I'm not even a Cubs fan, but what happened to the Cubs midseason is crazy, bro. It's crazy. They deserve it, but it's crazy. Anything left, Pat, before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, I got nothing. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Fubo TV, basically anywhere you want us. You can get it. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow, man. Peace, y'all.
Peace.